Welcome to WROL Broadcast. I am Hate Mail, and with me today we have not Luke, not Kage, Burger,
What's up, guys?
and M4.
Hello.
And we have joining us as a guest the man who needs no introduction, Zubaz.
Hello.
And he loves tier lists, is why he really wanted to be here. So
I'm already getting flack from my legions of fans who are calling me a sellout for doing the tier list episode. But it's okay.
This is actually your second time on the tier list episode, because didn't you come on during...
No, this is my first. This
is the
I
first.
didn't.
We
It's
tried
not
to
that
invite
month.
him before and we couldn't get him on. But
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought he'd come on during a different one, but yeah, I think you're right.
No, this is it. This
Wow.
is this
So
is
I
a
will
big
say-
sellout moment.
I will say my two fans are very happy that I'm doing this.
yeah, you have more
Thanks,
burger.
Mom,
You'd be
thanks, Mom and
surprised.
Dad, if you're listening out there.
Well, with fame, people usually end up selling out eventually, so it was a matter of time.
Well, there's a specific reason that I came out for this one, so we should be good.
Is it because this is the most popular episode of all of the podcasts?
No, it's not. No.
Because of a certain tune, for sure.
All right, well,
Oh, man.
we'll go ahead and get into it. And the first one we're actually let's start with the tune of the month. M4, who would be your tune of the month this month?
I don't know. Who do we even have? There's too many people here. on
I'll
the
go
list.
first, actually, and see if I can
Yeah, go
sway
for
your
it.
opinion. I have to say, and I think Zubaz may agree with me on this one. The tune this month that I think I used on every single team except maybe a handful was Mira. She really exceeded my expectations this month. Much better than I remembered. Maybe it was because of all the AoEs, but
I would only use Mira because I have Aquaman. If I don't have Aquaman, she's gonna die. Now I remember who my tune of the month is. Siege seems like an eternity ago. Mine is Aqualad. I think he's in all of my matches, and he's actually quite good.
I didn't use him hardly at all, actually.
Well, you were missing out.
Yeah,
That's why you-
I really liked Aqualad. I would have trouble deciding between Aqualad and Tula. I think actually if you're looking purely at the Siege, I think Aquaman was probably the actual tune of the month. But if you're selecting from just the Siege bonus tunes, I would probably lean towards Aqualad as well. Just the way that he handles Spectre now is really critical, and that came up a lot in Siege for me.
How about you, Burger? Who was your tune of the month?
Like the one person I used in every match, which I don't know if I'm the right one to ask about since I finished so low, but I'd use Cassie the most out of everybody, just with all the blue tunes and ability to retaliate, like anytime they did, and several of them like having like AoEs and stuff like it. I was using her a lot.
That's interesting. Well, I'll have to get to your score on her later. But, all right. Well, I guess that means Aqualad will be the tune of the month this month. I think Mira should have got it just for her skin, but she's good. I really liked her. So let's go ahead and get into Aqualad. I was not super impressed with him, but he definitely is a lot better than he was. I was torn between a B and an A. I think I went A just because I feel like he is a really good tune. I just liked the combination of Mira Tula better during most of the matches, but he's super good and he's good against Spectre, so I voted A for this month. Burger, you voted a B on Lad.
Yeah, he's fast, which was nice. Liked the bleeds and all that, but I liked how he could protect somebody if they was doing it. But like when I'm just looking at like normal PvP play and stuff, like for Siege, like I used him because I had to, but I don't think he's gonna be, to me, if somebody's getting an A, like they're inherently making like any team better, and I don't know that he absolutely does that. I think he can make some teams better, but I don't think he's going to make every team better.
How about you, M4?
I think he's a solid A. He counters both in strength-based and intelligence-based characters. He can handle Spectre, like Zubaz said. You can convert strength ups like from, let's say, an Arcus or an Azrael, and then he's like blazing fast, the fastest toon outside of a speedster. So you can use him to on Lex teams. And in this particular siege, he's the fastest. So even if you want to, let's say you want to use a Raza Ghoul, sometimes you may want to. He There are a few times I used him in Revenge, so I can do full bonus where it's okay to lose tunes. So he can get, how many is 10 bleeds plus the disease from Ross, put it on enemy Aqualad, and then you get the ball rolling. And then that damage immunity that resets is invaluable because there are times you don't want to piss the enemy off by doing damage. Let's say an Azrael's on the other team, he can, if you're lucky, he can do that almost every turn. So I think he's really solid. He solves a lot of problems and he doesn't cause problems rarely because of it's easy to deal with that 10 bleeds, but he's kind of like a very good Swiss Army knife in my opinion. So solid day for me.
And what would you vote him, Zubaz?
I would probably have him A tier. I mean, he's I think the bleeds alone, 10 bleeds that have a very good chance of becoming permanent bleeds very, very quickly. So it's like he is one of the best bleeders in the game, has it on his basic, has it on that 3, and then can convert them to permanent. But at the same time, he's also one of the best kind of protecting tunes in the game because that 2 skill is constantly resetting. So he can put on that damage immunity quite a bit, and I was finding a lot of use for that. He's very good with Starfire and Enchantress, just with like constant heals. I would have him as an A, but I could see where people would just kind of be a little bit confused by like his basic or his lackluster second passive, and have him a little bit lower.
Yeah, he's kind of like a low A in my opinion, or a high B, but solid character. They did a good job with his rework overall, which I was surprised because it didn't sound like it'd be a great rework, but he turned out pretty good. All right, let's move on. We had a Harley Quinn Mad Jester on the list. A lot of people are questioning why she's still an S, and she's an A. I still have her as an S. Burger, you still have her as an S. Looks like Kage moved her to an A, and M4 you moved her to an A. Either one of you have comments on your scoring?
I can see why people are not seeing her as an S tier anymore because for one, she's one of those you hate to face, right? But now I don't see her as annoying as she used to be. Maybe because of the Star Girls and
Well, and you have an RB5 Terra that helps.
yes, and I don't even see her that often anymore. And when I see her, she's no longer the annoying force that she used to be.
I still see her a lot, and I still find her super annoying. So Zubaz, you will be the tiebreaker.
Man, I hate doing that. I mean, I'll say this: you still see her on all of your PvP boards, even though within the span of a month they gave us reworks Terra, rework Starfire, rework Zod. I think there's a lot to say for the fact that they released several direct counters for her, and she's still in use all the time. So I would still have her S. I think she's still a pretty nasty toon to face, and she's not a toon you can overlook. You absolutely have to game plan for her, and so for me, that elevates her.
But none of us use her because she's so unreliable.
I've never used her. I never used her before the rework.
We're all talking about her on like a third person because oh yeah, she's annoying to face. She's like, but none of us.
She's good. If you have good RNG, she's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't like her. Oh, she's great, but would you? Nah, no.
I mean, my Harley Quinn has never dodged before, and I still give her an S. So.
Anyway, Zubaz is here. He's the guest. So it's historic. I put her up for discussion, but she still made it to an S. There you go. I tried.
And another character that made the list that we decided to revisit because he got his bugs fixed, so he was basically reworked again. And an early rework is Raynor. Fantastic during raids, absolutely fantastic during raids. Apparently, there was some controversy about him on a competing podcast. I haven't listened to it quite yet, so I can't chime in. But Zubaz, since you are one of the hosts of that podcast, if you want to enlighten us on some Raynor and your score.
I heard he's S tier, as good as Darkseid. That's what I heard.
So I was absolutely not the individual who said anything remotely like that.
I can imagine who. I could take a wild guess on who that might be. But.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Well, first of all, everybody should listen to the Toonies over on the Crime Alley podcast. You can also vote in the Toonies. But I will say this: after they have fixed his bugs, I would have Kyle as an A tier toon. I recently geared him up after everybody was talking about how good he was in raids. I said, okay, well, I'm probably going to need him in January then. And then since then, I have been using him, and he really provides like a lot of problems for the enemy team. The whole turn meter that he gives anytime it happens to anyone on your team, as opposed to Aquaman, which it only happens to Aquaman. That move is really, really good, and he's constantly providing damage immunity and debuff immunity. So I love a toon like that. I think of him as like an off-lead enchantress to a certain degree. So I would have him as A tier as well.
M4, you also have him A tier?
Yes, and the one thing that I agree with everything Zubaz said. The one thing he did not mention is he's also very good at controlling the enemy because of the two moves that applies buff immunity. So buff immunity plus speed downs, you can neuter someone pretty well. So after using him extensively after he got fixed, I think he's a really solid A, and that's outside of his potential of becoming a raid essential.
Now, does he work with turn meter down, or is it turn meter up on the enemy team? I can't remember.
Turn meter down. Whoever on your team gets hit by the turn meter move, he applies turn meter up.
Because I ran a match while you were talking, and Black Flash hit my team and took all their turn meter, and then nothing happened. So I was just curious.
He doesn't apply.
So there is like a little bit of controversy about that. Yeah. Okay. So it's if he applies it to all 4 toons, it all goes to 1. So okay. If you have a taunter, they will get all the turn meter, but other than that, like it works as it's described, except for an AOE.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I messed around with him, but it wasn't. I used him against certain teams, but I didn't have I wasn't pulling it against Black Flash teams. But I saw I had a Black Flash on my board, so I decided to test it real quick. But he definitely, outside of even the turn meter manipulation, he seems a lot better to me. Burger, what are your thoughts?
I think last raid last siege he was like S plus. But no, I'd say I kind of waffle back and forth between A and B. I can definitely see the utility for how with the toons I generally use most of the time. Like I don't see him fitting him well, but I can see him absolutely being a good part of like a nice Swiss Army knife coming in and helping in a lot of ways.
All right, so I guess he moves up to an A. All right, let's move to Nightwing. He had a, air quotes, bug fix, and that made him actually a little worse than he originally was. If in some ways, I guess if you run particular types of teams, he could be slightly better. Overall, I think it bumped him down a little bit. Burger, why don't you start?
Yeah, I loved him when the rework first happened. Took him to RB4 as fast as I could. I still use him a little bit here and there, but you're right. Like he has to be on the right team. But like he does still provide a decent amount of protection as far as like hiding the team. And then occasional adding awareness, and the call assist is great. The guaranteed stun on somebody is really great. So I think he does a lot of things um, really well, and so that's why. I don't think he's elite. Where like before, like he could work on anything. I'd put him as an A.
M4, how about you?
Yeah, he's an A because he can no longer protect everyone as well as he did before, but he is so much better with the dudes that really needs invisibility. And but everything else after that, it's still roughly the same. You're just not going to get as much invisibility as he did before he got fixed. But still solid. I was kind of like waffling between if is he a B because he needs to be in an Invis team, but I think all of the things that he does, survivability, stats, uh, he got debuff immunity, damage immunity, insane amount of awareness. I think he's a solid A.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I'd bump him down to an A2. He's still a really good character. I'm not sure I would have taken him to RB5 in his current iteration. Because he doesn't really mesh too well with most of my other teams. I have too many leaders I like to use, and so I might have still. I'm not sure. So I was a little disappointed in that, but he's still very good character. Any comments on him, Zubaz?
No, just that he's a lot easier to face now, which is for me makes sense that you guys are downgrading him a little bit. I just noticed that facing him, you don't need all the tunes that you needed last month to do it.
Yeah, he was a pain before. Let's move on to somebody more fun, and we'll start with you and your score, Zubaz, and that's Tula.
Oh, Tula's an A. I don't know if you guys have Bay tier, but that is where I would put Tula. I love her. She obviously she needs a little bit of help to really become super powered, but once you do that, it's like I think she's S tier when she's with Aquaman. And then outside of Aquaman, I think she's about A tier. So it makes sense that she would be an A. But yeah, I mean, the amount of intups that she stacks so quickly. And, one of the other reasons that I like her is she has made other tunes more viable because of how much they ramp her. So it's like, there are tunes that, men's for a very long time have not been particularly great. But now all of a sudden, like Bane is useful again, or Mira getting a ton of use to ramp up Tula. Swamp Thing made her excellent. Even Vandal Savage. Shout out to Tootie. I think even Vandal Savage can help Tula, which is great. So I think that's a mark of an A tier tune is that they make other tunes better. I think she's very, very good, and that's outside of an Aquaman team as well.
I'm going to say she can make certain tunes better, not every kind of tune better. If you look at her, I was like debating this myself because she's really good on the right teams, and that's our definition of a B. Like if you put the right comps around them, they are gonna be great. But otherwise, they need some help. And she's kind of like, but she's so damn good when she's in the right team. Like put her on an Aquaman team. I mean, it doesn't even matter who the other two. I've been messing around with her with Ultraman, really good. So I wouldn't call her S tier with those A tier tunes, with mending tunes, but she's close when she's in the right team. But when she's not, I am not as high on you. If you don't have her on the mend team just by herself, she is not gonna ramp up as crazy. So she's kind of like the A tier on a mend team. That's what I'm gonna say. But overall, it's not that hard to do, so I'm gonna give her an A.
How about you, Burger?
I'm same thing. I was actually getting close to putting her on B just because it seems like it's not every team that she's gonna make better, but when she does get going, like she absolutely is something you have to plan for and try to stop her from ramping and getting on the go. But yeah, I mean, I ended up settling with her as an A, but it was actually close to making her B.
I have to say I'm a strong A, and I'm with Zubaz, near S tier with the right comps. Like, she makes Mira so good. She makes Aquaman even better. Like, my favorite team to run, which I kind of, and you said I'll never rebirth Tula, and I was upset because I missed the extra shards.
What extra shirts?
Yeah, you know what I mean. And you know, she's just a fun character. My favorite team is running that Aquaman, Tula, Mira, and then I swap out that fourth slot, depending on who I want to use. But running full blue teams against even Azrael teams is viable, which is, just unbelievable. It's just a fun team, and I've been half tempted to rebirth her and Mira to RB5 for that reason. But
That would be great because that will get you out of the stun business. So maybe we'll get new tunes with no stuns.
Well,
maybe.
I'm out of the stun business anyway. I just the tunes I wanted to do happened to have a stun. That wasn't why I rebirthed them. I mean, I don't even
Sure.
run Hawk Roll or Killer Frost anymore, and I only run Grotic,
Alright.
for PvE typically, sometimes. But I mean, there's no stun synergy, so it really doesn't matter. So
Yeah. So here's my forecast. So once Hate rebirths Tula next year, all of the tunes would have mens.
Good.
well, Peacemaker's on my list, so and he's got no stun, so. But
He does have a stun.
Peacemaker
Yes, he
doesn't.
does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He absolutely does.
I don't think so.
He has stun immunity.
He has stun
Yeah,
immunity.
he has stun immunity. I don't remember him having stun.
Yeah, he doesn't have a stun.
I thought he did on his 2, right? Wait, hold on.
No, his
Stun.
two is no, the two is
Okay.
remove buff.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Alright,
Okay.
one last thing I'm gonna say about Tula. She was almost the siege, the tune of the month for me, except for the fact that she was so annoying to use during siege because that basic with the turn meter down is a detriment sometimes. People that have
Death immune.
well, for what death immunity, you can kill them, and then you have the potential to get stuck, and then Aquaman just loves it. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
why.
you could do it. It just took a long time. I mean, like
Yeah.
you wouldn't get permanently stuck, but it could be annoying sometimes. All right, moving on. So Tula is an A. It looks like everybody voted A. Batman Beyond, boring. Good lord. I'm gonna do my vote first, which is a C,
Okay.
because he just the no character bores me more than Batman Beyond. I don't know why. I hate using him. I used him like 3 times.
The basic probably.
Oh, it's so slow, and just
It does take forever.
and he's just. I mean, it's useful at times. I guess he's probably a B. I don't know. He's a C for me. Burger, sounds like you agree.
Yeah, I do. There was never a time that I'm worried about him being on the other team, getting a move. Like, it doesn't matter if he's hitting a physical tune or what. Like, it would be a little annoying, probably, like if he hits you with like his with his one, but yeah, just overall, like, never a factor.
M4, you have an A.
No, just B.
Oh,
no,
B.
no.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, not an A. Look the wrong.
So his problem is one, he's ridiculously slow with that basic. That's why it's so annoying to use. But if you look at his kit, it's decent. He can actually do a bit of damage once you get those hit chance downs on the enemy. And he has decent control because of those hit chance down. If you're lucky, he gets that 10 hit chance down, and then you're impossible to hit. So he's just power creep. That's why you probably hate him. But
I've never liked him, even at the beginning.
really, he's also a victim of old kits where the percentages are low. If you just bump his percentages up once he gets his rework, think he's going to be a really solid toon. Right now, he's still decent. Like I can't lump him in with the other Cs after using him this month. So I think he's a B.
Once again, Burger, you are the tie maker because Kage also voted a B.
You mean Zubaz?
No, Kage. Yeah, I'm sorry. Zubaz, you are the tiebreaker. Kage voted a B. Excuse me. Good lord.
I cannot weigh in on this. I have never used Batman Beyond, and I never will. He's a dork. So
I guess we know the answer.
So it sounds like he's fighting with us then. Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it sounds like.
Yep, that sounds like a C to me. Oh, that enraged some people in the community, which would be great.
Yes.
Because he's got a major fan club out there for people that love him.
I mean, his old TV show was pretty good, but
I don't know if they maybe as a toon, but I meant like in game people like his kit.
Oh.
They might like him too. Who knows? I don't know. He's terrible. Let's do a quick just what we think Captain Cold has bumped up to or moved down to or remained the same as. I originally was preaching that he was going to be an S tier because I was under the impression that his leader was no longer going to be a leader. But
he would have been great.
But unfortunately, his leader. The only thing is, I'm kind of mixed on that now that I've used him a lot, and I used him a lot this week. Just messing around, getting ready for Siege, and his 75% retaliation is more like 17%. So I mean, it never ever works for me. So I'm not sure I would have been too high on him after using him a lot.
Here's the problem for me. He's a green leader that retaliates. And he's going to compete with that spot for someone who doesn't need a gate to stun you. And sometimes you don't even get stunned because you just die. And I'm talking about Superman. So he's going to compete with Superman on that spot. So he's cute. He does those things. Ooh, he can make the other dudes go use their basic. Cool. But still unreliable because you don't know who's gonna get called. I was waffling on this. Is he an A? Is he a B? Right now, with a week's worth of usage, I think I'm gonna settle with B for now. I might change my mind later on once we use him in Siege.
Yeah, that's what my initial thought is a B as well.
Yeah. So comment on Superman. So with the bug right now, like I actually have. Is there anything lower than T and trash fluid? Like, I mean, it takes me like 3.5 days just to finish my 27 PvPs because it keeps resetting nonstop. But so I actually, I mean, so I put Captain Cold as a B. I am having a lot of fun with him. On the right teams, he can absolutely help you neuter the other teams. And he, slowing everybody down, stopping them in their tracks, like it's good. But again, like he has to be on the right teams. But I've been having a blast with him and Riddler, and it just from there, but he's doing pretty well.
Zubaz, any comments on him?
Yeah, just
I'm getting super lag from you guys. Is that everybody hearing that, or is it just me?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just leave for a second, and I'll be right. The fuck? All right, can you guys?
Okay.
All right, there we go. It's fixed. It was horrible.
Weird. No, Captain Cold. I was just Cold and Riddler is outstanding together. My go-to combo used to be Captain Cold with Mirror Master, and I think that they still are pretty good. But I think Riddler is surpassing Mirror Master now as Captain Cold's best friend. So I think they just didn't go far enough with some of the things to make him really like an elite leader. He still dies pretty easily, unfortunately. But I think it is an improvement overall. So bumping him up makes sense.
Yeah, he's a solid. I mean, he's a good B. He's fun character. He's just still super squishy, and I don't. I mean, I notice a difference, but I don't notice that much of a difference. I notice just enough to bump him up one tier, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, he doesn't die turn one, but he's still going to die if you don't pair him with, like, let's say Barda or Dara or maybe Supergirl.
Moving on, Cassandra Kane. Burger, you voted her as the Toon of the Month, yet you still had her as a B, so... or you bumped her down to a B, so curious. You there, Burger?
Burger's here, but he's on mute.
Oh, what's up? Sorry.
I said, Cassandra Kane, you voted her as Toon of the Month, but you gave her a B, so we're just curious.
Yeah, so she, like I think it's just because there's so many ways you can get at her now over the last few months. And so I liked her. I voted her Toon of the Month because of Siege and how often I used her against the other blues and the Mystic Toons. But there's just like so many ways you can get her with like Terra and Zod and Superman and stuff like that now that like she's not as effective as she used to be. So, and yeah, I mean, that's why.
How about you, M4?
I think she's still as annoying as she used to be. I mean, if you have the counters, you do, right? Like that goes for most tunes, right? If you have the counter, they will be mostly shut down, unless their name is Spectre before Peacemaker comes out. But anyway, I think she's gonna be an A because she just found a new best friend in Nightwing. Her biggest problem before was that once that Invis falls off, she's a sitting duck. Well, you have to wait like the 2 turns. She's annoying, but then you just have to wait her out. But with Nightwing, I don't know if you guys faced her with just, let's say, a Nightwing lead and her, and then the two teammates died. She's just not gonna be not invis, and she's super annoying to deal with. So yeah, I think she's gotten better because of the support that she has. But everything else that she does sticks. She's pretty good. Buff immunity, AoE, turn meter down with bleeds. You know her. She's pretty good.
Any comments on her, Zubaz?
Nah, she's a dork. Never used her, never will.
Kage also voted an A. I would vote A just because I think she does. I don't particularly like her. I don't use her a whole lot, but I think she does enough. She's got the damage or the buff immunities. She's got the heal immunities. She's got purge. She's just a solid character all the way around. And now the man of the hour, and the reason Zubaz joined us was to sing
The primary reason
Zubaz joined us and was to sing the praises of a new toon, Baby Life.
God, he is. I mean, I don't think trash tier cuts it. I because not only is he like an absolute trash toon, but just like the way that they handled him and like nerfed him and mistreated him all month, like he's like lower than trash tier in my opinion at this point. Here's I guess the summary of Garth is 50% of the time he will do nothing. And the 50% of the time that he's doing something, that something is like C tier at best, right? So it's like I can't remember them releasing a toon that was so bad from the get-go. I was comparing him to things like Blue Beetle this year or Adam last year or things like that. And we've seen them put into comps and been like, okay, how do we make these toons shine? If you can make Blue Beetle crit, he can do some work. If you have somebody with a whole stack of stamina ups or whatever, fine. Adam can do some work. Garth never does anything. He's just awful. He could have been very good, but literally twice in the same month, WB decided we are just going to write the bugs that are in his kit as we're just going to change the text and make them features, not bugs. They did it the first time with his third skill, which, when they released it, was supposed to scale up to 100%, and they made an error in the way that the rings apply, and so that it topped out at 50%, and they just decided, you know what, we're going to leave it at 50%. And, the third skill did not apply in the way that people were expecting it to. The way that it reads is the legendary is supposed to apply 1 intelligence down for every strength down that the toon has. So you're like, oh, great. Well, maybe he could pair well with Aqualad or Medfill or Stargirl. And then as it turns out, those intelligence downs are just capped by 5. There's just a max of 5 on them. And then obviously the big one is his passives were supposed to apply each and every turn, whether it was an ally or an enemy. I'm told by the game testers and the VIP group and the individuals that get access to this ahead of time that they confirmed in advance before they did balancing that was supposed to be every turn. And then they announced this week that would not be the case, that it's only going to apply on his turn. Unfortunately, he's not fast enough for those to have sort of any impact. The only good, there's 2 good things you can say about him. One is his basic hits moderately hard. It's got like a decent damage for a basic compared to other toons. The other really good thing, really great silver lining that you can say about him is I was able to do a chargeback for every single cent that I spent on his shards this month because of how they basically said, yeah, we're just not going to deliver the toon that we promised. So I think he's worse than most of the toons in the game, certainly the worst toon of the year, and I would send him directly to the trash tier forever until a rework.
Zubaz, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Who is the worst Atlantean? Him or Rider of the King Tide?
I honestly, I would say Garth. I really would. And I have used them both a bunch the whole last month. For anybody that doesn't know, I was doing like a challenge myself where I was only using Atlanteans during Siege. And there are times when you can really make Aquamoa or Rider of the King Tide work. Especially like when I wasn't doing the all Atlanteans, if you put him on a crit team, if you put him with a Swamp Thing or Harley Quinn quite vexing or under a Deadshot hired gun leader Zod, he can do work. He can call his assist on his basic every time. That's one of the only basics in the game that calls an assist like that, which is great. Garth doesn't have any of that. It's like his basic, half the time it'll stun, but it doesn't feel like half the time. And there's, so many Terras floating around that what's that even going to do? His 2 skill, the heal on it is very, very minimum, and half the time he's just doing 1 awareness, which in this day and age really doesn't do all that much. His 3rd skill, I've already told you about the problems with that, and his 4th and 5th passives don't do anything. So it's just, it's outrageous.
His kit belongs in 2017 where it's 60% to do something bad, 50% to do something mediocre. That's what his kit looks like.
Yeah, I mean, most of these skills are now things that regularly are given a guaranteed to a toon in the game. Like if you compare something that came out this year, like it would be at minimum 85%, but more likely it would just be like, guaranteed to give 1 awareness, 50% chance at a second or something like that.
Yeah, like compared to Kyle's too, right?
Right.
And Burger, you didn't...
I mean, he just...
And Burger, you didn't gear him. You kept him as a slow gear.
I
correct?
hope not.
I hope not.
Oh no, yeah, I did not gear him.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Smart.
staying permanently slow tier or slow gear.
Well, in the spirit of that, I am sad that Lute isn't here to say, "Back to chocolate." All right.
So can M4 do it instead then?
I can't. I could do no justice to the way Luke does it. So
that was my closest impression. So. All right, let's move on to a much better tune, and that is Mira. I I'm probably jumping the gun by bumping her up to an A in my vote, but it's
S
not gonna
tier
matter.
kid.
We had her down to a C. I think she probably should be a B though. At least now there's more. She's got more support, more characters that help her. Burger, you have her bumped her up to a B.
Yeah, she does a lot with a lot of other tunes now since they've kind of reworked a lot of them. So she, I mean, is absolutely becoming a little bit more of useful in everything. So, I mean,
I'm I went robot. It went robot on me again.
oh, damn. Okay.
This was my problem with Discord in the past. So, it just likes once you've been on it for a while, for some reason, it just likes to start having issues. Sorry, I lost you during Mira.
Oh, yeah. So so you want to just keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I think like with a lot of the new tunes out in the game, like she's gotten better, and is a little bit more useful. But yeah, she's I upgraded her to a B.
Kit has always been good. There's only one problem with her. She could not take a hit. And when we got the Aquaman rework, that kind of solves that problem. And they have so much synergy. She's kind of like Tula. In the right comps, she would be really good. But outside of men teams, she may not be. I don't even think she can survive without Arthur. But if she can do her thing, like get hit with an AoE, get some meds out, she can be really good. So she didn't get better, she just got the support that she needed to do her job. And of course, that S tier skin is also making us jaded to think that she's better than she actually is.
Zubaz.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the other reasons you think she's a little better than she actually is during this siege, the bonus tunes that she was facing all the time were Superwoman and Cassie especially, and they both have AoEs that I don't think hit particularly hard. So it's like because she could survive them, and all of a sudden she throws down these men's, which I think one of the most underrated parts of her kit is the 15% turn meter that she gives whenever somebody mends. That is fantastic. Now, if she gets in a situation where those AoEs are killing either her or her teammates, then obviously that's not going to go as well. But I think this month she was just set up particularly well to work with Aquaman and then Tula especially. So that's the other thing, adding Tula into the game gives Mira very much a huge boost for bringing her in. I think she's definitely got like a B tier-esque kit. I think she needs help. I think she needs, for me, I use Aquaman because I don't use taunters, but for people that bring taunters, they can protect her too.
Well, under Aquaman, I don't think there is a red AoE that can kill her.
Poison. Dr. Poison.
Oh, with the exception of her.
Poison, yeah. Wow. Poison, I've seen Red Hood do some damage too.
Yeah, maybe. Because I was going to say, the AoE on Superwoman, especially if she gets to a turn 2 where she has those power strengths up, can do some damage. But and even Kane, if there's no Aquaman, she'll red
she will destroy Mira in her current stats.
Yeah. But she's a good character. So yeah, B seems fitting. Now the king of the siege, and it's amazing 2D-tron didn't, be world's finest, is Raza Ghoul. Who I think I used a total of 1 time on Revenge.
I think he's amazing. There's a top 10 player that always uses Raza Ghoul lead.
Poodlin made it rain. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. I don't know how to read it, but
No, that's
Yeah,
true.
full bonus with Raza Ghoul protecting the team. I mean, he's probably we just don't know how to use him, I guess.
I guess not.
Yeah, I need to find him because I want him to autograph my DCL app on my phone.
Uh,
But
yeah.
he I only use him on revenge because he's gonna your team's gonna die if you don't use Aquaman lead. But he could be quite annoying to face because of Aqualad, and then now you're like I mentioned earlier, you now have 10 bleeds in I don't know how many this he's three, and then
Yeah.
now yeah, whoever the toon is probably going to die or close to dying. So he is not without merit. It's just that oh, disease isn't that prevalent.
Oh man, I'm losing you guys again.
Uh,
Freaking Discord.
No, I don't think he's a dork. I like him. Both in game and out of game, I do like him.
I like Roz out of game. In game, I did have an awesome match. I got to make sure I find the video to sync up with this section of the podcast where there was a guy in Section 8 housing that I did a revenge on, and he he was the only character standing. Like it was just him, and the disease did the final tick.
oh yeah, because he comes back and he's
Yeah.
a little bit he's kind of tanky a little bit. So yeah, on revenge he's pretty useful.
All right, so he is a B. Superwoman. Burger, you downgraded her to a B.
Yeah, just for PvP. I mean, in Raid, she kicks ass. But, in PvP and stuff, like she doesn't have enough time to really ramp to do
I agree with that.
anything.
I agree with that. But I was on the fence on whether she's an A or B.
I kind of am
For
too.
P-
For PvP,
Yeah.
I kind of think she might
If
be a
this
B.
is yeah,
I'm a downgrade.
this is endgame. This our title is endgame. PvP,
Yeah,
right?
she's
So
really
it's
not
not.
an A.
It's not raid. It's not her ability to make your life great for 4 days. So
Yeah.
yeah, for PvP, she's a B because she needs to ramp. Her basic kind of hits hard, but she needs to really crit, and then there's so many other reds that will just do the job right away. So why would I need lowest to for PvP? So yeah, for PvP, I think she's a B.
All right, and we'll go ahead and move this along because my connection is starting to get bad on Discord again for some reason. Which I'm hardlined in, so I don't begin to know what's causing it. But Wally West, I think he was pretty good before, slightly improved. I think that bumps him from a B to an A when I'm messing around with him. Just the little extra added stats. M4.
Oh, he's a great viewer. Fastest buffer, and now he's super consistent on gaining those speed ups. He's crazier, almost as I don't know who's crazier, him or Flash, in gaining speed ups. I know Flash gains them passively, but man, this guy when he does the double basic, he just goes. He just keeps going, and even with the improved awareness. So just those two things alone makes him A tier in my book.
How about you, Burger?
Lex plus Wally is stupid.
Oh, really?
You
Yep.
guys are going to
Yeah.
see that all siege.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing I love most about it is like in game flashes are all, I mean, they're all fast, but they actually do a lot more. Like if you watch any movies or comics and things like that, like, and this is like the first one that when I look at it, it's like, hey, he's evading people. Like he's, protecting his team, like adding awareness. Like those are things that I would look at and say, hey, he's like a complete Flash toon. And so I think he does a really good job with that, and adds speed up to everybody. Shares that. So I think there's this is like the first Black Flash is kind of there too, where he does a lot, but this is like the first good guy Flash toon that I feel like he's like kind of like a complete Flash toon that you would normally read about in the comics.
Oh, one thing I want to add, he kind of lost his viability in the past because of Impulse, but then Aquaman exists, so now he's kind of like going back to the forefront, because if you can't turn meter down the enemy team, you get buff. So buffers are now back in business.
Yeah, this is gonna be a Lex Siege, for sure.
No, I don't think so. It's gonna be a Wally, Red Hood, Red Robin, Arcus, or whatever nuke you want. Lex is
Mark
not
the
gonna
Manhunter.
Yeah, but we're gonna counter Red Hood
with Lex or whatever.
Yeah, I think
I
it's gonna be
suppose.
Lex. Yeah, there's gonna be so much.
Well,
Lex.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna do Martian Manhunter and then gonna add V12, and then this is gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be an
We'll
interesting siege. I'm looking forward to next.
Sonic Siege. Who could go fastest?
Yeah.
Savitar probably up there too.
Yeah, it's gonna be
yeah.
it'll be interesting. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on as always, and we will go ahead and wrap it up there. It was a fun. I enjoyed the siege actually. So this past one that we just had, even though I made idiot moves, all 3 of my losses, and I lost 3 times this siege, was using Kane's AOE against the Aquaman team, forgetting she did. I did it the first time. I just completely forgot. Second time, I forgot that I forgot, and then the third time, it was early in the morning, and I don't know what I was thinking. Like I as soon as I pushed the button, I knew what I did, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. So it's
Never play Siege without coffee.
Yeah.
Rule number 2.
I woke up late, had limited time, and just went right into my siege to burn the energy, and yeah, that was stupid. But oh well, I didn't care. I just wanted top 10 anyway, because I didn't really care about Garth. So
No one did. No one did.
I just wanted L5 shards.
Nobody
for
should
rework.
ever.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll have the Burger Shack or Hawk's Nest, depending on who does what this weekend, probably. So,
Nice.
Thanks, guys.
all right, guys. Take care.
Wow! Look how much influence the Joker has on the CC. All 14 people who visit it must be really impressed. You know what else is impressive? Being a Patreon.
Become a Patreon today and get special perks like Patreon-only episodes, early reviews, and content based on your requests. Just go to patreon.com/WROL broadcast.